is. I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntax Live. How you guys doing? I'm doing okay, rushing around like a moron, just like everything, trying to get everything done, just like everybody else in this world. So at this point, let's start off right by popping a top and get this on the road.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Cheers out to all you bad motherfuckers out there. And I do hope you guys have had a good week. I've been having a interesting week, to say the least. Unfortunately, I can't get to the gym as much as I want because the weather's been a real pain in my ass. Main reason is around here this time of year, when it comes down hard, you got those the leaves all over the road. And let's just say if you take a turn around here on these side roads, you will slide right the hell off. Which is why a safety brief every week is about you guys being careful on the roads. So, as we get started, just so you know, I didn't get any new videos from you guys, which was surprising. So, straight into recap incoming! I hope you guys are doing good. First thing I wanted to go into, besides from thanks for you guys being here, is I'm going to go over some of the older videos. This right here is a thumbnail from another video I did, but the audio was actually better. I didn't have to tweak it much, but it's still on that bad equipment. So if it comes out real bad, you got to let me know. Just so you know, everything was fixed mainly because it was requested by me. And as you guys know, I'm all about your requests. If you have something in particular you want, just let me know. I will write it down and I'll get on it. And before I can do anything, I'm saying, as I'm saying,
hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Something is right because someone's so truly outrageous. She can't wait this time. She's been chomping at the bit. Sends a $10 super chat. And she says, thanks for everything. Well, you are very, very welcome. And it's crazy how much you guys have stuck with me, even though the channel's been having some issues. We can get into that some other time, or I should say, hold on, let me get down here. But, you know, things have still been going and they've been going okay. So with all you guys still sticking around, very much appreciate it. Very, very much. Now, I will say, not only did I do those videos because of somebody's request, but I wanted to actually get back to the roots. As you can see by the thumbnail, this channel was originally meant to be horror, scary type creepypasta shit. Okay, that is how it started out. It morphed into more science fiction. Just like you will find, if you go in and says, wow, Stasis truly sucks. You know, that one has a lot of gore, a lot of horror. It's still science fiction. It's got the whole kit and caboodle in there. And some people are asking me to keep going on that one. When I finish up right here with the files and everything, which isn't going to take too much longer, I might go back to that one. However, you guys are asking more for a few others, Ambush Predators, so I'm going to see what I can do about getting that one going. So I'm just going to run down the old ones really quick because I didn't go too deep into the comment sections on that. Most everybody was complaining that the audio sucks. And it was on 5 and dime equipment. I was running off an El Cheapo straight out of the PX laptop with a headset that wasn't even a gaming headset. It was just me getting started, guys. So I do apologize for that. A few people had some interesting things about Beyond the Firelight. And if you're actually wondering why I do so many horror stories with deer, believe it or not, deer kill more people in this country than you would think. Oh, and I don't just mean by getting crashed through a windshield. If you get one of these things pissed off, it'll come up and jump and it'll like come with his front feet down. Those are like little spears coming down on you. And it's not just the antlers. They'll use that too. But those will go in you and break, and then you're stuck with one actually jabbed in you. If they come up and kick on you, it'll cause some serious damage. If you fall back and look up, it can actually go straight through your eyeball and kill you. So, yeah. There's also the fact of anybody who's actually gone through a lot of the creepypastas, you know that there are certain deer, most of which glow, that you just don't mess with. You can observe them, but you don't ever mess with them. If you can, you just stay perfectly still and let them go off to do whatever the hell they were. They kind of ripped that off on Princess Mononoke, but we can go into that anyway. One of these, it came from the sky. Honestly, it's been so long, I had to remind myself what that story was about. And that was actually my first touch into science fiction. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Unfortunately, like I said, the audio quality sucked balls. However, one I was surprised you guys seemed to like was It's Watching Me. Although I won't mention who it is, but I think, yeah, you're in the chat. Put in, I have a flashlight next to my bed. I just shine a flashlight in its eyes and dive through the windows at it. Yeah, on the 8th floor. I'm sure that's going to go well. Let's see. There was also What Had I Done? Now, this was one of the first brain twisters I ever did. Okay. And there was another one where it came out also, you know, I found it or did it find me? Those are both brain twisters. They're not meant to be creepypastas as much as they are to make you think, which is why, case in point, somebody put in the comments section that a lot of these aren't meant to have sequels. They're like episodes of the Twilight Zone. They leave you hanging with that suspense in the air that just digs at your brain. And that's something I'm good at. You guys know I'm really good at leaving things open-ended to the point where you're like, son of a bitch, finish it. So, yeah. But yeah, I figured the last two that came up, I found it or it found me about the Jinn, along with It Came for Her. Oh, I shouldn't say the last two, the last three. You know, It Came for Her. I wanted those to just be open-ended. So it just kind of twinged at you. Now, when it came for It Came for Her, I remember this distinctly because I actually had a lot of people come at me and said once they could figure out what the hell I was saying, they were surprised at the fact that the main character probably didn't survive. And it's something that occurred to me as I was doing all the research on creepypastas and stuff like this. I realized that if the narrator is talking, you know they survived it. So there's not as much at stake there. You know, if you're just a third-party narrator and talking about them, you don't know. But if the person there, you know they made it through. And that's one of the keys on that. And that's why it's set up that way. As far as babysitting for a friend, I can actually thank a buddy of mine because I had to babysit his demon daughter on that one. I'm not even kidding. That girl was a hellion. And she was always saying, oh, I'll just tell daddy you did this. I'm like, you do realize he left that camera running, right? He has the, on his phone, the nanny cam. He knows exactly what you're saying. He has the whole thing recorded. She'd still just run in and throw shit at me and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, it's time for lunch. I don't like that. Make something else. I'm like, tough. I made this. You either eat it, you don't eat. And she's like, fine, I won't eat. She'd take off. She'd call her parents and they'll come back. I guess I'll eat that. I'm sure it tastes bad, but just whatever, you bitch. Her little brother, though, once he was born, I only knew him until he was about 2. I don't even think he hit his terrible 2s. They were the complete opposites, and I didn't get it. So anyway, that's it for the old stuff. Just going to run through that real quick. Now on to the files. And this is the last one. As you can see, this is the latest one that came up. Unfortunately, I have been so busy today, I was not able to complete another episode. It is not dropping tomorrow morning. I apologize for that, guys. You know I hate letting you down. It's just, it is what it is. I can only do so much during the day. I had Wednesday, as you know, my busy day. So the morning was shot in the ass. And I had to take my dad to Costco's and we had a butchery run. It was a whole day. So anyway, in the comment section here, why people thought the main character was going to be humping dragons, I still don't get. There was a lot of comments about, is this guy going to be having a family with the dragons? If he did, he would have mentioned it. Okay, you got to remember, this stuff was in the past. He found those hatchlings when they were very, very young. You know, by our understanding, they were basically newborns. And now they're 15, 20 years old. So this was a long time ago. If he was going to, you know, do a little schnook, a little bit of
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
then he would have done it already. It's just that simple. Anyway, somebody also said, don't wake the dragons. All I can say is no shit. Absolutely no shit on that one. Not too much as far as the dragons go. I saw you guys liked it. However, I do have to say this. Somebody brought it in how they said wyverns are still dragons. Okay. And how they hate the idea of the dragons or the wyverns not being called dragons. They are a type of dragon, but would you call a chihuahua a malamute? No, you wouldn't. Would you call a spider monkey a chimp? No, you wouldn't. They are two different types. The only issue is what we know as dragons, what we all consider it, with the two separate wings, 4 appendages plus tail, that it's like calling a breed of dog. And everyone's else like, well, this one's a dog too. No shit. Okay, it's not a shot. So exact War Sniper, I knew it. I knew somebody would type it before I even said it. You are absolutely 100% correct. They are a separate subspecies. Just like you can look at goblins and ogres and orcs and stuff like that. They're all subspecies of a very similar one. Went over this last week. So if you guys are going to write a story on this, make sure you are specific, because it might come into play specifically in your story. Say you're going to capture a wyvern and you're trying to just tie up the wings. Well, if you're trying to do that with a dragon, it's got 4 claws it's going to be gouging at you with. However, for a wyvern, if you get the wings, its feet are usually towards the back, which means its mobility is going to be crap in comparison. Not to say it's not dangerous, not to say it's still not a flying lizard. I'm just saying it's going to play in a lot to your story. So, yeah, that's all it is. They're different breeds, they're different subspecies. That's all. It's not a shot. Same person said, dinos are not dragons. Well, historically speaking, the word dinosaur didn't show up until 1842. In 1842, that's when the dictionary put in dinosaur instead of dragons. Until then, it was in there in the dictionary and the encyclopedia, and it said now rare, actually, which is why when I did the one, I kind of wish I had it set so I could put it on there. It actually says there now rare. So anyways, yeah, his big thing was, he said, dinos aren't dragons unless dinosaurs breathe fire. Were you around when there were dinosaurs? Do you know they didn't breathe fire? That's my question. And that's one thing that an anthropologist brought up, and he was a fucking genius, a total friggin' Chad in his field, because they brought up the skull of this massive gator-like creature, but the front of the muzzle was all sorts of bulbous and deformed compared to what we would know as a gator or a crocodile. And he says, all we have is the bones. And by legend, this same creature would actually come out of the ocean and actually breathe fire to try and get its prey to exit whatever area it was so it could snap it up. What's to say it couldn't? You don't have the glands, you don't have the chemicals, all you have is the bones, and not even complete bones. You just got to go by what you got. And Chris, I'm going to get to that. You had me laughing so hard, I almost fell out of this fucking chair, by the way. So I'll get to that. Anyways, yeah, you don't know. You just don't know. We have old legends, and it is what it is. Now, a few people were surprised that I used Plum Island. Well, I can't exactly use Mount Motherfucking Hayes now, can I? But yes, Plum Island is just one we know, and no one knows exactly how far down that one goes, which is why I could do 20 sub layers or sub levels and just keep going. Now, on that same one with the Dragon Kin, and by the I use Dragon Kin instead of Dragonoots because Dragonoots are completely different subspecies of dragon, just like Wyvern. They're not a hybrid. That's a very important distinction. Just like Dragon Kin and Half Dragon are actually similar, but not the same. Half Dragons are actually born by a direct mating of the two. Dragon, that's Half Dragons. Dragon Kin are brought up by a non-natural way of doing things, sometimes science. So anyways, where was I? It was brought up about the creepy hybrids. It's just, now the kicker is I saw that. I saw that comment about the creepy hybrids and how they would freak everybody out, especially when it came to Arachne and stuff like that. Of course, that's what was in my head, and I knew I was going to do that one next. It was like a challenge, people. It was like a challenge, and I'm just like, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because who else is afraid of spiders? And that's why I did Arachnes. I actually forced Arachnes next. I do have to also say this. Did anybody else get confused about the armor? I'm going to put a big old star next to that. I'm going to get, I'm going to come back to this one. However, I want to know, because I referenced the armor that the main character was wearing and what it seemed to look like. I wonder if people actually got it. So I'm going to leave that one for the comment section. Yes, he was wearing, yes, War Sniper. He was actually wearing armor when he went down in there because it's tight quarters and you have to be able to stay forward and not bolt off to the side or else someone's going to get on you. All right, need a drink. Hold on. All right, with the Arachne, not a lot of comments, although somebody mentioned how this makes somebody into a silk mummy bag. Yeah, I guess I guess that would be it if you were just wrapped up by one of these things. Honestly, I can only think of a few more horrible things than a giant spider wrapping you up in a webbing knowing you can't move. And it's yeah. Okay, just got to chill down my spine. However, I won't mention who, but you can take credit for this. They asked if raid was going to work. And
hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something is right. Demon, I didn't know you were going to be here. Everybody say hi to Demon. Make sure he knows because I thought your job changed hours this week. Says, or maybe you did. I haven't read it yet. He says, I already missed you guys. Can't stay because work. Well, there you go. Hope you all are well. I do hope that as well. Love the new file, Sin. Have a good night, everybody. Back to work I go, sadly. Well, cheers there, Demon. I can only hope your night goes very well. And before I even finish, I'm sitting there looking at this and I'm saying, what am I saying? What's the button I want to look at this? Something just looks, how do I put it? Barney, help me out.
When I get sad, I stop being sad and be awesome instead. True story.
And what's awesome, we got MTF Guard with a $10 super chat. And he says, turns out I do have enough money this week. I forgot my brother was tossing me 100 as I owe, and I owe you one buying and replacing his truck's brakes. And here, I thought I wouldn't be able to super chat. Well, I very much appreciate it. And like I was saying before, guys, as much as I appreciate these, I do not want you guys to put yourself in financial straits. Okay, I've been there. I've done that. Got the t-shirt more than once. Just take care of yourselves, everybody. All right. I truly appreciate it. Really do. All right. Thank you again, Guard Demon. And I got to get back to this so I can run through these and get the media assets going. Now, where was I? Anyway, I was going to say, yes, could he bring a whole bunch of raid down to the Arachnes? He didn't know that's what he was fighting. And yes, the armor was touched on. Let's see. Now, into the catacombs, like we see on the screen right now. This is where things got very interesting. You guys had a lot of fun stuff to say. Apparently, the final not today thing is what you say to death. Yeah, I did kind of take that from Game of Thrones. It's actually one of my favorite lines. I've been waiting for a time to actually throw it in there. Somebody mentioned, I believe it was Erica, if I remember correctly, mentioned how the energy in the catacombs needs to be purified. Try getting that many preachers, priests, cardinals, and popes down there at one time. Good luck. And she also was also put out, careful of the mimics. And the thing about mimics is you don't know where they are. They could just look like a boulder, just something a little out of place. And that's kind of the point. Now, the mimics were actually recommended by you guys. You guys. And that was, do I have a button for that? No, I don't. Shit. I thought I had one. I thought I set up a bunch of new buttons and I removed a couple and I removed the wrong one. But anyways, yes, that's why I used the mimics. It was a recommendation from you guys. So, okay. Now, here's another recommendation. Now, maybe you guys can help me on this. Somebody recommended dungeons instead of the catacombs. I actually thought about that. The reason for the catacombs, at least for me, is normal dungeons are at most 3 sublayers deep. The catacombs go excessively deep. We're talking several hundred feet down. They've done a ground penetrating radar and they haven't even reached the bottom of these things yet. It's actually horrifying. So that's why I chose the catacombs. You guys can let me know if I was wrong. That's why I put that on there. Only a few people got this next one. It was a reference. It was a movie reference. Inside the catacombs here is when they were talking about the mimics, how his buddy was kind of pissed off. He destroyed a mimic that was a 57 Chevy. Yes, that was a hat tip to the old movie about Christine. And actually, I got another response on that said Christine in the book was supposed to be a Cadillac. Yes, that's true. I wanted to reference the movie. Honestly, I fell asleep at least 3 times reading the book because it was so fucking wordy. I mean, it got to the point where I'm flipping pages going, get to the fucking point, will ya? It's a lot of that stuff just bores the shit out of me. But the movie was actually better. Let's see. Somebody mentioned that in the against the Arachne, the main character was the Orkin man with a flamethrower. That was pretty good. And Chris, I told you I'd get to this. This is the one that made me almost fall out of my chair. He sent a comment, and at the end, and I quote it here, he says, "Why was my ex-wife in there?" Referring to the female gargoyle that killed half the guy's team. I was having kind of a shit morning. I read that and I could not stop laughing. So thank you, my friend. That was freaking hilarious. And let me remove this here. All right. That's the end of those. Now, I do have to do this because I went back through all the other videos, the media assets I have. For some reason, one of the clips you guys sent, one of the first ones you sent, I can't adjust it. Every time I go to adjust the volume, the entire video goes to shit. I don't know what's wrong with it. It will not work with my system. However, there's another one that I finally got to work, and I hope you guys will enjoy.
Torpedo's recht voor ons. Torpedo's aan bakboord.
Ik heb vuurondersteuning nodig.
Het vijandelijke team heeft de leiding genomen. Torpedo's recht vooruit. Torpedo's recht voor ons. Probleem opgelost, kapitein.
私の力はこれほど。
Oh man, that Shinono got their ass beat. I'm a little biased, guys. You know, I'm American. You know, I fought on their side, and my brothers on the sea. You know, I gotta support the team. You know, gotta support the team, man. So, anyways, just to let you guys know, I got a few more sound effects, like you said, and if you don't like it, well,
You will respect my authority.
a few others. And looks like as we go into some of these, you know, I want to say, since we got pretty much everybody here, I will say all you guys are.
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best.
Hopefully that doesn't get me any copyright shit, because that's only about 8 seconds, but I don't know what the YouTube stuff is. If I get a strike, I'm going to have to pull them off my soundboard. I got one other, but I'm not going to play it right now. But anyway, if things get too bad, well, you know what? I'm going to save that for if I get mad. So, all right. I do have to know something, guys. You got to help me out. One thing, especially you guys at Super Chat. And all you guys are here normally. I mean, if you're here pretty much every week, Super Chat or not, let me know if there's a particular sound effect you want. Okay? Send it to me either in the, not through the chat board, but through the actual downstairs comments down there. And that way I can go through and I can mark it and make sure I don't lose anything. And I got it forever, because these chat boards, as soon as these chat boards go, as soon as I close it, they're pretty much gone forever. They're unretrievable for me unless I go through this entire video. Regardless, so make sure you guys let me know, again, if there's something, because, again, I'm going to be reading your stuff here. You know, I got Leonid on there. I got Eric on there. You know, there's actually a couple different Erics that are on here usually. So anyways, if there's something in particular that you want, just let me know. Also, something else I need to know, guys, for the files, if there's a particular creature, cryptid, ethereal, or whatever else you want, by all means, again, down in the comment section. I will get those, and I will have a lot more time to screw around with those and see if it sits. And hold on, where is it? Oh, don't tell me I forgot to put it on here. Oh, son of a bitch. The Bazinga for the soundboard, I actually downloaded it, and I must have forgot to put. I'm sorry about that. I know shit. I got it and I didn't put it on here. Okay. I'm going to put in big, bold words. Bazinga. It took me a second to find one that had the actual audio quality worth of shit. So anyways, you guys got to let me know what type of creatures you want, because if you want zombies, that's how you get zombies. If you don't ask for it, you ain't going to get it. Maybe. I don't know yet. All right. I already mentioned how I didn't get any videos this week from you guys, so I only got that one that was redone, and I got a whole bunch of others from last week and the week prior. I still got those queued up. They're all ready to go. Now, I do have to go into some video game news. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. I'm going to throw this on here because apparently with these video games, you can't fix stupid. Oh, dear God. Sometimes you can just beat it over the head and you just don't get anything. Because, look, they talked about Splinter Cell, and it has been ratioed into the freaking dirt. Holy crap. Apparently, the Rotten Tomatoes score, and this is audience score, gave it a 55% that was the best it got. It's still going down. I'm sitting there going, holy flying monkey turds, Batman. This is crazy. And it's almost as crazy as our El Presidente son-in-law buying EA games. Oh, shit. Whenever some rich guy buys a entertainment medium, you know it's going to die fast. Okay, it happened with comic books. When I think the guy, he owned like Time Warner or something like that. I forget his name off the top of my head. He bought Marvel. He bought almost all the comic books, and all they cared about was pumping out garbage as fast as they could. And I'm just sitting there like, what the hell? There's no passion. There's no heart. There's no balls to these stories. There's nothing that's going to keep you there. And it's just, EA is barely surviving as is, and it's just going to circle the drain and just die. Kind of like this Ghost of Nobai, or is it Nubai? I don't know, some sort of fighting game. The sales have completely and totally stopped. They hit a wall and they're not going anywhere. And it wasn't doing that well in the first place. They tried to hype it up as best they could, but a lot of people are saying, no. And it just amazes. It's why do they do all this crap? It just amazes me. Let's see. Okay, Assassin's Creed. I don't know if you guys know this, but the boss of the project freely admitted that he was fired straight because of Assassin's Creed Shadow.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
What that is, let me flip a page here, is Brian Kemp. And he says, just returned from a nice bike ride, 68 degrees yesterday. Last night, smoked 16 pounds of pork butt and pork burnt ends and 3 pounds of pork belly. Oh, dude, you're making my mouth water. Oh, man. Guys, if you've never had that, especially over a fire smoked, it is so good. The burnt ends, usually that's where all the juices and stuff kind of squeeze together. It's the most flavorful part of the whole thing. Oh, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. And by the way, I did get a sound effect for you. A little long, but hey, I'll have to. Hey, by all means, if you end up sending a picture via email, it's probably going to end up somewhere on my thing tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week. I'm going to be showing it off. Dude, fuck, I've ate well today, and now I'm drooling. Okay, thanks a lot. All right. And I do thank you for the super chat very, very much. And let's get back to this. Let's see, where was I? Let's see. Talked about Assassin's Creed, and because of the failure of Assassin's Creed Shadow, they're looking at major layoffs. I heard 40% or better. That's what's projected right now. Don't quote me on that because it could actually change. But Assassin's Creed used to be the shit. Everybody wanted to play it, and they just, wow. This is what happens when some super rich schmuck bucket is in charge, and just, you just want to walk up, punch him in the face, and say, sit down, penis wrinkle. We don't have any time for you. Sheesh. Let's see. Project Ethos, another game. Apparently, the alpha, they said they were going to change it. When everybody says, don't do it, you're going down the wrong way. And in the beta, they changed nothing. They went more woke. And you know what they say? If it's woke slop, it's going to flop. And that's just the way it goes. And hey, if they want to crash their entire business model into the ground and waste millions and millions of dollars that they definitely can afford to lose. I mean, these guys have so much money. It's crazy. Then, hey, whatever. I'm not much of a gamer myself. And besides, PC games are kicking their ass anyway. I mean, most, if not all, of everything I got lined up, let's see, maybe one or two are console games. Everything else is PC. And I don't mean PC principle. But I'll tell you what, all these folks are, they're telling themselves it's going to be great. And I'm just like, you guys are just snorting the copium so bad. It's just absolutely nuts. And I don't have time for that shit. See, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. The reviews are, wow. The reviews are bad. There's such a huge backlash because they decided to not just go woke, but go super woke. Or let me phrase that right. Not just woke, but super woke. And I'm just like, turn it down. Okay. You can sparkle a little bit, but don't catch fire, please. Oh my God. It's just pushing people away. And it's so bad with a lot of these that we found out that Ubisoft, in its entirety, its stock fell 25%, 1/4, just because it lost control of Assassin's Creed. And I'm just like, wow, that's just crazy. That's just absolutely crazy. And if that was their linchpin, was Assassin's Creed, and they got this Shadows that everybody actually returned the game and said, I want my money back. Yeah, that's bad. On one of the lighter games, Pokemon Legends. Apparently the next one in the list for all the Pokemon games, and apparently the reviews have crushed it. Now, it's not a game I play, so you guys are gonna have to let me know how it actually goes, if you would enjoy it or whatever. The first time and only time I've ever seen anybody play a Pokemon game was when the first one came out for the PS1, and I was in college. And a bunch of us came into the day room very, 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 very drunk. And because it is bad to fall asleep when you're hammered, we sat and just watched this guy play his game. And I almost fell in love with Pokemon because I was laughing so freaking hard. But it is what it is. Let's see. The next one, Splinter Cell. They're rebooting Splinter Cell. Originally, the writing was written for. Let me hold on. Let me get the right thing here. It was written for modern audiences, and all I can say is no. That just, and they're apparently redoing the whole thing because Splinter Cell is one of the name recognitions everybody's got. But you know what? I expect them again to be absolutely dumber than shit. So it is what it is. And I guarantee right now, you big gamers, I know we got a few out there, You're just sitting there saying,
God f***ing damn it!
and I can't say I blame you on that. As far as movies go, nothing new under the sun. It's still all just bad. And besides, pretty soon, tech for is going to make movies obsolete. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Technology will put us all out of work eventually. However, as they said in the, what the hell was it? Daybreakers, I think was the one. It was a vampire movie. At the end, they said, we found a substitute for blood, but there's always going to be a market for the real thing. Just like this channel. And this channel that only stays afloat because of you absolute chads out there. You guys are freaking awesome. And me even having a channel is
Inconceivable.
even though I'm still here. So anyways, on that note, just remember, they made a whole song on it. You know, TV killed the radio star. TV was a totally different medium. It wasn't meant to replace it, but it did. It did. Because like you had somebody who is of excellent talent like Conway Twitty, not a photogenic guy. He's honestly creepy to look at because when he's singing towards the camera, the man doesn't blink. And I'm just like, and those really wide eyes, that big hair he had, I'm just like, dude, even I'm creeped out listening or watching you. It's absolutely crazy. Just like we talked last week, how machine guns ended horse cavalry charges. I mean, they were just gone. After the first one or two, everyone's realized, oh, yeah, bad idea. The internet killed mainstream media. Thank you, God. There are some silver linings. You know, like they say, every dark cloud has a silver bullet. And kind of wishing I had a silver bullet right now so I could drink it. And, you know, internet was killing the control over the population. Just like you guys are definitely smart enough to recognize when something is made by ChatGPT, which I actually stumbled across one just the other day. There was these 5-minute long videos of, you know, getting revenge on somebody. Oh, they did me dirty. 2 in a row. They used the same phrase. It was like glass in my throat. And it's just like, who the fuck says that? I thought it was a clever phrase at first. And then I heard it on the second. I'm like, no. These are obviously fake. You know, and although unfortunately, you know, drone warfare killed tank warfare, or drones killed tank warfare because aircraft just weren't enough. They got close though. But you look at the cost per airframe compared to drone, cost per pilot, you're not in the harm's way, and all that time you got to train them and feed them and yada, yada, yada. Now, here's the kicker. And before we start going into some more of the media here, not just me talking, believe it or not, Battletech got it right again. By that, I mean, a lot of the old ways of doing things are coming back because of technology. Think of it this way. If you have some sort of stealth field you can put up that is only taken out if you get visual ID on someone, where you can tell sort of where somebody is based on their movements, if you got sonic or seismic sensors like they have in Battletech and all this other fun stuff, you might be able to drop artillery in that area. However, you might be like, oh, why would I waste a whole bunch of artillery and give away my position on one target when I don't even know what it is? But you got like fighters nowadays. You got the F-35 and F-22. Now, the F-35 is not nearly as stealthful as the F-22, nor is it as maneuverable. The F-22 is a hunter killer. But now you got, if they got it working, the Su-30 or Su-22 and the Su-57, if those worked the way they were told to, or you know, they said they worked, then you would have aircraft that wouldn't even know each other is in the air until they visually spotted each other. And you're going back into good old-fashioned dogfighting at that point. If your missiles can't lock on each other, you have just regressed back to straight old-fashioned, seat-of-the-pants dogfighting. And it's the same thing with stuff on the ground. Good old-fashioned camouflage, which is why tank warfare and open plains like they have in Ukraine is just stupid. No tank commander worth their shit is going to want to do that. Just like bringing one into a urban environment. Tanks are good for very niche combat. But when they are, holy fuck, they're scary. They're honestly scary. And yeah. So, but yeah, it's bringing us back to the old ways. Now, you can actually, in your story that you're writing, you can actually put that in. There's a stealth field and you have trouble locking onto whatever. The only problem with a stealth field in science fiction is this. If it is one ship that has a stealth field on, you're literally going to see a blob in space that you have no idea what's in there. It's empty in your sensors, which means you're just going to aim for the center and shoot. And you'll know if you got close because that blob is going to move. So it's not going to work as well. However, or I should say, but it brings back the old ways. It's all I'm saying. All right. All right. I'm going to throw on at least one more video before I go in. Who am I going to do? Am I going to say somebody who hates planes? Or are we just going to drop some... let's shoot something. You know, I just realized that they actually did the whole call sign on the way, and that's what you have to say. The gunner has to say before he shoots. I didn't know that until somebody screamed it into my headset at one point. I was like, what the hell did he just yell? He said, on the way. What? Why? All right. The last couple things I'm going to cover here before we go into the comment section, which I need to open up just in case the super chat shows up. And one, 3i Atlas got a little bit of news, but not much because a lot of stuff that's getting out of there is spotty. One of the main things when you have any type of large piece of rock flying through space is, as we know, it creates its own gravity field. Everybody knows that. Its gravity field is very light because there's nothing around it that's going to pull stuff away, which means there's going to be stuff in front, behind, and to the side of it. Mostly behind it. However, right now, our planet's being pelted with a lot of the stuff that's close by to it. There was a couple alarmists that said, oh no, we got a meteor shower coming. I don't freaking know. All I know is if one hits anywhere close to here, I'm going to go take that rock and be like, ooh, that's pretty, and probably have it next to me while I sleep, and maybe I'll turn into Vandal Savage. You know, it's whatever. And if you have no idea about that, that's the comic book character. He's immortal because of a meteorite that landed, and he slept next to it when he was a caveman and stuff like that. Anyways. The only last thing I want to cover here, I kind of touched on it already, but hold on. But I want to say once a certain business is bought out, and somebody sent me a video on this about the comic book industry when they got bought out, and I noticed that the music industry, when a lot of like gospel and stuff was bought out, and then they changed it to rap and reggae, or when they bought the country music stuff and it was no longer country after that. You know, once they buy stuff out, the creativity it doesn't last long. They only care about pumping out content. And then there's nothing original. There's no heart. There's no balls to it. And they don't understand that you can't do this on a spreadsheet, because that's all they understand. Under the old adage of, if you only have a hammer, then every problem is a nail. That's just the way they think. Just like communists want to look at everything on a spreadsheet. You can't do that. Just like farming, you end up with a fucking holodomor. Okay, that didn't work the first time. It's not going to work any other time either. Just like creativity, farming has such a wide, big factor that you just kind of have to flow with it. Sometimes you get good years, sometimes you get okay years, sometimes you get lean years. Sometimes there's a total collapse. You don't know. You just have to run with it. And it's kind of like surfing. You got to ride the wave you got and just hope it's a good one. But they don't want to do that. They want to have everything standardized. Everything must fit in box. On that one,
It's a trap.
it very much is, because it's going to trap you in there and everything's going to fucking collapse. And when that happens, it ain't going to be like back in the day. And these guys are going to think, oh, as long as I have food, it must mean everybody else has food, or everybody else has good entertainment or stuff like this, yada, yada, yada. And it's not true. And we're going to say,
congratulations, you played yourself.
Right before we bust into their freaking houses. And, well,
it was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
And that's where it's going to be. All right. That's the end of my notes as I sit here with an itchy nose and try not to sneeze. I'm going to scroll up here. You know what? Let me throw out another video real quick beforehand. How about we blow up an EMP? How's that sound? Okay, and as that was going on, I was going through the comment section, and mirror made wrong. Mirror made wrong for the files. Just gotta make sure I get that down, because you guys come up with some of the best ideas. Alan's up here saying, nope, the catacombs are a cemetery for a religion. Yeah. I kind of altered it for the story a little bit, but again, it's fiction, so yeah. Let's see. Lena says the deepest dungeon can go because it's based on a Fate video game, which is 2 by 32 levels deep. Holy, 32 levels? Holy balls. There's more sniper screaming, the Shinano, hey! Or are you saying 232 levels? Eric saying, sorry about that. I hope the Eric in the spider story isn't a reference to me. I'm not completely useless. Sometimes I just got to pull a name out of the air or out of my ass, you know, and you're not the only Eric. We got another one who's Doc. So yeah, it just came out. Just like when I it kept saying John, it was supposed to be Jean, not John, as in it's a European person who's actually leading. I screwed that one up, and I sat there and like,
God damn it!
As I realized how bad it was, and I couldn't go back and fix everything. So anyway, let's see. Douglas. Oh, by the way, hey Doug, if you're still here, how's the grandkid? Is he doing okay? We're all hoping he's doing okay. You know, And you got to let me know if you still want me to use that picture. Are you still good with me rotating through everything? Aside from that, it says, curious note, my uncle was a doctor at Tarawa and Okinawa and was stationed in Nagasaki after World War II was over. Ooh, that's fun. Thankfully, people don't realize this, but the majority of radiation, even for a dirty bomb, only sticks around for a few days. You still have it permeating into the soil and everything, but with a little bit of protection, you're good. Worst Neighbor says, can I show the clip with the sound unchanged? I would have to, you know what? Let me set it up here. Let me look. Where was it? Okay. It's loading right now, so I'll have to let you know on that. Ah, son of a bitch. Hopefully I didn't lose the stream at this point. And this thing is dragging. So, okay, there we go. Yeah, I'll put it on there. And the thing is, you're only going to see the beginning, and all of a sudden, the image just quits. And let me see here. Yep. Yeah, that's all it took. It's literally those advanced drone ones. The weird thing is, I watched the whole thing. I was like, oh, this ain't too bad. This is pretty good. And all of a sudden, it just quit. I don't know what the hell was going on. For some reason, my software didn't like it. All right. Where the hell was I? Okay. Let's see. Chris says turkey was on sale, so I bought 17 pounds of turkey, and I'm browning it now. Ooh. I really wish I could find that glass cover would baste it as it's going. It's like an automatic thing. And there's Eric with Bazinga on the soundboard. Dude, I feel like a big old asshole. I wrote it right there, right there on the notes, so I won't forget it this time. And again, I uploaded it. I just didn't put it down. Hell, I even got Bazinga on this other koozie over here with a second bottle if I ever get to that one. Let's see. Guard says, so we're getting a brand new Transformer G.I. Joe crossover series based off of the Skybound comics. Oh boy. This could be either really good or really, really bad. And if you guys want, I will continue with the Transformers one. It wasn't going over all that well, but it seemed like some of you guys liked it. It does have some really interesting twists coming up on it, but I just haven't gotten to it. So if that's what you want, again, comment section below. Let's see. Guard also says, so you're actually getting an adult Transformer series that isn't a movie because them Skybound comics are brutal as fuck. Well, I hope so. That's one of the things that used to drive me absolutely bonkers about all this. And it's crazy. Alan says, if I receive a shout out, any animal doing a normal, okay. Okay, I'm going to have to put this on a separate page. Hold on. Excuse me. Oh, shit. Okay, Alan. Let's see. Animal. Human task. All right. It also, if like I said, you know, I got War Sniper here. I got Brian here. You know, I got those. You know, for you guys, if you actually want something here on the board. However, I will say the ones who get it the most are going to be everybody like Erica, Demon, Douglas, Guard, Brian, Prozac, and, you know, all those guys, because, you know, submissions first. Anyways, let's see. Douglas here says Bigfoot would be good since they are fairly common and relatively speaking. I think you meant sneaky, but okay. Let me Bigfoot. Okay. Big foot in your ass. There we go. Can we get a Raccoon City zombies? Okay, I'll try that. Zombies. Oh, yeah. How'd I know it was going to be with you? Raccoon City. Raccoon City. Okay. So basically running zombies. Got it. Okay. Guardian says, Files Jurassic Park. What a bad idea. Especially when you clone multiple different types of dragons. They wouldn't want to clone the dragons because they already got a whole bunch of specimens. And that's kind of the point of them actually creating those dragon kin, is to make it so they could have it. I mean, you could try to clone a dragon, but you're also looking at probably a fully grown dragon that might just immediately go into a coma. And, you know, if you poke at it with a stick, it might come up and just instinctively grab a hold of you and crunch you like a potato chip. You got War Sniper. Oh, hit that twice. Sorry. Only one I want for the files is that one time the MC came across a situation of a Kitsune female that is marked by. I already have that one written down. You're already on the list. Okay. And that implies if you like to throw a part that she bear the dragon's child. You really like your cross species schnook, don't you? A little death by snoo, which is kind of what happened with the gargoyle. Well, I'm sorry, Chris, but when you said that was your ex-girl or ex-wife, oh shit. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm dying. Okay. It was funny. Oh man. I couldn't read. It was
Game over, man. It's game over.
I just couldn't stop laughing. Oh man. Like she's gonna have the dragon child and help delivering it. Oh, that will be something considering they're very spiky, which is why most are born through eggs. Which is something I got to bring this up because some of you guys actually remember the old Gargoyles cartoon, the old Disney cartoon. If the gargoyle women lay eggs, why did they have mammaries? It doesn't make a lick of sense at all. I mean, at all. Because, I mean, if that's the case, they're just there to be squished on. I mean, what the? They kind of shot themselves in the ass on that one. Okay, Chris says, I'm still busy dog walking my neighbor through court. Oy. Which is on the fourth day, surprisingly, by Krampus actually being Maria. By being Mariah Carey and making that song to punish retail workers could be awesome. I'll see what I can do. Krampus? I don't really do much with the Krampus. Let's see. Guard puts in, well, let's just hope with Sin over there or over here that YouTube's is merciful because apparently the song is not legally allowed to be used unless you're licensing, which is it is BS. Now apparently there's a certain amount of seconds you can play a song, and yeah, unless it's something like I'm gonna cut that real short. That's like 20 seconds of that one. I'm just gonna no. Yes, I was gonna rickroll you guys, and I figured, nah, I'm not gonna be that bad. And there's Brian with his awesomeness when he sent in super chat. Thank you again. And Lena says, Hollywood made pets out of dinosaurs, and then they also made pets out of xenomorphs. Oi. So they think, rattlesnakes don't make good pets, like they say. And I wouldn't want to. The thing is, velociraptors were actually a lot smaller than they showed. So when they did that line, if we made them actually look like dinosaurs, they'd look a lot different. Trust me. I think that was the latest Jurassic, no, not the latest one, but the one before that. Or maybe it was the third. I don't know. There've been so many of them and half of them suck. Let's see. Brian says, I was going to say Harley starting. Yeah, that's I believe it was a flathead. If that's what it says on the soundboard when I downloaded it. Guard says, I just honestly forgot to send you any videos, man. No worries. I just been so busy with other stuff, I completely forgot to send it. Again, no worries. I know everybody's got their own life. I'm not going to be an asshole about it. Just like you guys are really nice to me when I can't put a video out every single day. It's just, life happens. So don't even worry about it. Do not even consider worrying about it. Because, yeah. I don't want you sitting there saying,
God f***ing damn it!
Or anything like that. I mean, the worst you would say is something like,
Game over, man. It's game over.
and that is totally
Inconceivable.
Anyway. Eric says, sounds delish, Brian. But why is the best tasting parts are always the worst for your health? That's actually a misnomer, believe it or not. That's actually wrong. The fact of the matter is the human body requires fats to survive. It requires both of, or actually there's several different types of fats. It requires all of them. It just doesn't require as much. It's called overindulgence, my friend. That's it. Just like you can have too many sweets and then you end up with a gut kind of like I'm getting right now because I haven't been able to get to the gym as much as I would like to. It is what it is, and that's it. Now, when you got to remember, a lot of what the health stuff we all have heard over the past like 30 or 40 years has been so laden with total bullshit. Oh, man. It's so much bullshit. It's Bolshevik. Oh, drink. So I'm just like, what in the hell, man? I mean, look at the old food pyramid. A food pyramid was not designed by any nutritionists or anything like that. It was designed by a committee of CEOs, and they wanted to figure out a way to push their own bottom line up higher. It was a total line of crap. So, yeah. In all honesty, just like when they say, oh, you need lean cuts of steak. No, you don't. The fat is what helps gives it flavor. I mean, you need fat, you need salt. You don't need a shit ton of it. So anyways, I'm going to keep going on this. Guard says, oh yeah, I forgot on how you're replacing the original guy for Splinter Cell with a gay black woman who can just do everything because she's the bestest ever. He can do anything he can do, but 10 times better because, of course, she's the bestest ever. Oh, just... my brain hurts. My brain hurts. Do I have a you know what? I'm going to use this button a little too much.
God f***ing damn it!
Oh, even better.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, that just... Not that women can't be badasses. I've known women who are badasses. But I'm just sitting here like, no. You want Ray Palpatine on there leading the new Jedi Academy? And what do I see? I see a $10 super chat from Guardian Sage. And he says, the only reason they called them velociraptors is because it sounds cooler than I'm going to mispronounce this, Deinonychus, Megaraptor, or Utah Raptor. Yeah? That's actually 100% true. A lot of people don't know that. They mispronounce, or they put the wrong labels on a lot of things in those movies just to make them sound I don't know, meaner, nastier, scarier. Trust me, this thing is a walking carnivore. It is, and they come at you, and it's actually noted that they do hunt in packs. They're just a little bit smaller. The problem is they end up fighting in larger packs. When they did Primitive War, I believe it was, the Vietnam thing where they were accidentally portaling, Cretaceous period dinos into the modern planet. They kind of got them a whole lot righter. I mean, they still juiced them up a little bit, but yeah, they're just that dangerous. And you're right, Guardian. Absolutely right. And I don't know where the hell I was. Okay. Okay, I found that pretty quick. Lena's here. He says, I've heard that somehow Adam Driver didn't return to the new Star Wars movies. Okay. Good to know. Chris says, Final Fantasy Tactics re-release is on my list. You're going to have to let me know how that is. I stopped even watching people play Final Fantasy after, what's his name? The Cloud ripoff, who actually fought everything with a blitzball. That was his weapon of choice. And they had what was it? Vegercock or whatever his name was the big mech with the friggin' extending penis cannon. That I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching? I know, I'll bet you dollars to donut in Japan. That was hilarious. But over here, yeah. It turns out we don't give a shit. Okay, Guard says, yeah. Y'all hear about Trump tearing down the east wing of the White House to put a ballroom in. I find it funny with everybody freaking out because they just don't seem to know history. Honestly, that's because most of our history has been blocked. We're getting tiny little bits and pieces thanks to the information age. When we get our actual history, I guarantee a lot of people are not going to be able to handle it, and they're going to have psychological breaks. It's possible, myself included. I'm not stupid. I know there's a chance. So yeah. And we'll see how that goes. Maybe 3-Eye Atlas will actually land on our planet and little draconids will come out. I don't know. Probably saying, we now own this planet. And we're just going to look at it and go, you're funny. Guard says, let's see other events that has happened. Roosevelt had a chunk of it torn down to build the West Wing. That's true. Nixon had the basement gutted to build his own personal bowling alley. Yes, I remember hearing about that. Oh, right. Can't forget Obama having the entire back area of the White House ripped apart so he can have a tennis court, a basketball court, and a pool put in. And, of course, the multiple times the White House has been gutted since it has been declared as structurally unstable 5 times. That's a low number, by the way, since it was first built. Now, a lot of people say that the White House is Tartarian. I don't know. I think it's a replica of Tartarian. But yeah, the thing has been fucked with so many times. Yeah. Moving on, I can see Leonid putting in here. He says, the new Pokemon game is kind of sad. Sad as in it hits you in the field, or sad as in it sucks balls, man. And I'm sorry to say, but a lot of these games, here, let me turn this down a little bit, just make me want to hit this button.
General quarters, all hands man your battle stations. Set material conditions Zebra throughout the ship. Make Zebra report to DC Central.
And just run for it. All right. Let's see, where was I? Chris here says, my kids like collecting the Pokemon cards. My son pulled out a $500 card from a $10 packet at a card show this weekend, and it was fun. One of my nephews is the same thing. He's got a whole bunch of them, and I was like, these things are worth it. Don't you dare throw these away. Don't you dare, because when you turn 18, you're going to sell them, and you're going to use them to actually pay for your college. He's like, these things aren't worth anything. I got this pack for $3. I'm like, no. He pulled out his phone. We went over the first page. He's got one of his old baseball card books. And we went through, and the lowest one was, I think, $3 or $4 just for the one card. The highest one was, I think, 300. I don't remember exactly. It wasn't 500. It wasn't quite that high, but we wagered just that one page on the one side was worth at least $1,000. So yeah. Excuse me. Guard said, is the people who bought the game could read, they will be very offended that they're talking bad about Nintendo. And there's probably one of the biggest, I'll just call it ego boost. As Eric said, there is no substitute for this channel. Thank you very much. And because of that, I need to actually rest my vocal cords just a little bit. So, where's one that's at least 30 seconds long? How about this one? Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to go and actually check the volume on that one. I literally just marked it down. So let's do, how about this?
We have taken objective apples. I swear he hates planes. I don't know what it is. If it's got wings on it, he's got to shoot it. And that one in particular, he shot it right in the, in the tail. We'll just say the tail. Yeah, was checking the plane's prostate. Let's see. Up here with Guard, he says, the same company that's been selling us the same slop for close to about 10 years now. Yeah, he was referring to Nintendo and stuff like that. Yeah, unfortunately, their zenith, honestly, was Mario Kart. Name me one person that doesn't like Mario Kart, who doesn't just genuinely suck at driving the kart. I mean, yeah. Leonid here says, mosquitoes are bloodthirsty pregnant women. You never see the true horror in the fictional story. Well, actually, that's true. Only females do suck blood on that. True mosquitoes. And when you said mosquitoes for a second, I thought the code name for vampire. Let's see. Guardian says, you still have quite a few good radio programs. Oddly enough, I listen to more radio these days than I watch TV or videos. Well, whenever I actually listen to the radio, I'm listening usually to AM radio because it's just better. I can't chant with the songs anymore. It's just not something I can do. I actually did a long form video about that, how everything had turned into blue pill garbage, and you're literally just chanting over and over and over again. And some of these, especially in the rap and reggae portion, almost the entire song is nothing but the refrain. And I could never understand that, could never get into it. And it was just tearing me apart.
Well, I shouldn't say that. It tore relationships apart because I wouldn't sit there and listen to it. I'd walk out and they're just like, oh man, you're just being an asshole. No, I'm not being an asshole. I just don't want to listen to it. That's not a bad thing. And Alina says, well, Nintendo is an evil company. Yes, I would agree. Especially since they released their new Switch. And at the flip of a switch, they can turn it into a $250 brick, which I think is bullshit. I think I missed one of yours, Chris, because it looks like you're halfway through where you say, where the F-22 only hold 4 missiles, it will be used as a radar hunter, then target lock, while the F-15, the new F-15, I believe, is it the E is the new one? I forget. Is the gunboat carrying all the warheads to be spread on said foreheads. Yes, well, warheads on foreheads is a very old phrase. I heard that once from the artillery guys. Long time, almost 20 years ago now. First time I heard that. And we're actually up there, and I actually heard over the radio in there. Roger, putting the warheads on foreheads, because I said fire for effect. Like, Roger, warheads on foreheads. I'm like, and I look over at the forward observer who is next to me. I was like, what the fuck did he just say? He's laughing. So he's like, that's what we say, warheads on foreheads. I'm like, okay, why not? Let's see. Lena said the Su-57 probably didn't receive the upgrades it's supposed to get. Plus, the plane is very expensive and slow to release. It's slow in general. The one working prototype I've actually seen in the air, that thing is exceedingly slow. I'll bet you it could be outpaced by a P-38. Or, God help them, a friggin' Tiger Cat. If you guys ever looked up the specs on that thing, it is... Whew, even the best aircraft in the world couldn't even come close to that thing. It was so easy to handle, so nimble, so powerful, so fast, and it packed a hell of a lot of power. Just a lot of bang, bang, boom, boom, because more DACA, more better. Okay. Gart says, I mean, hey, take the movie War Horse. Literally, the German general yelled at the French general, what the hell are you thinking coming as a cavalry charge when you knew we had machine guns? The cavalryman baby killed like 80 people, and then an entire battalion of 200 cavalry were cut down in 15 seconds. Yeah, even with the old Vickers, it didn't take long. Because back then they were still using things like 308 ammo. That'll make a hole. Those are designed to take down large prey animal like elk and moose. He continues with, because they had their machine guns hidden in the tree line and their soldiers near the end, but the camp got to the tree line for the cavalry, even made it halfway through the camp. Yeah. Yes, they did. It was a fucking slaughter. And when I remember as a kid hearing about that, and I actually felt a chill go down my spine. I was like, that's just horrifying. Lena said, attack helicopter is probably a new cavalry. Actually, no, it was in the 60s and 70s, the new cavalry, just like they did on We Were Soldiers Once and Young. Now, they realized once they started putting rocket pods and machine guns onto the Iroquois, the UH-60, I believe. Then they realized, oh, we need an actual attack helicopter. Through about the mid-'80s to, well, no, right around the 90s, early 90s, attack helicopters were the most badass thing in the air because the aircraft, the fixed-wing aircraft, couldn't get close enough. And even if they fired, an attack helicopter would just drop down below the tree line, wait until they saw a poof of explosion, know the other guy lost his lock, and they just have to move over to the other side before they pop up, do another Jack in the Box, and fire their own Hellfire missile, or just wait until the thing flew overhead, just spin right around, aim up, and bang, you're dead. You know, a friggin' Hellfire prostate exam. You know, with a little poor depth perception because it's going all the way. And yeah, back in the day, for a while, attack helicopter was the new cavalry. They are being phased out. Or not completely. There's still a need for them.
but there's not anywhere near the need for them now. Most helicopters now are the Black Hawk, the Chinook, a couple of the Navy cargo helicopters. And of course, the Killer Egg. We all know that one. You know, aside from that, there's not much call for helicopters. Let's see. War Sniper, hold on. It says, Sin, in a day or two or longer, I'll be sent a lot of I hate planes clips. I'm sure you will. It says, I'm having missions on World of Warships, have to maintain. Hey, like I said, everyone's got their like. Leaning. Oh, okay. So that was a Matt. Sorry, I misunderstood your calculations. When he was talking about levels deep, it was, let me get this right. 2,147,483,648 levels deep. The game is base 32 bytes long. I'm sure it's more than just bytes. Yeah. I'm sure that's probably getting close into the terabyte range on that one. That's a lot of levels. That much levels, you'd literally be down in the Earth's core. War's never saying, ow, that's not an AA truck. AA truck? What AA truck? Are you meaning... Oh, do I even have it queued up? Oh, shit. No, I don't think... Oh, wait, hold on. It's not AA truck, but you do use it the same way. The way you were doing that, I swear to God, dude, if we put you in a Marauder battle mech, you would destroy everybody. If you've never seen a Marauder battle mech, that's why it has the weapon on top. So you literally can hide almost the entire mech behind something, just enough where you can see, and it's high enough where that gun can actually engage. Let's see. Guardian says, yeah, again, it's been so long since I'd done extensive math, I totally screwed it up. But Guardian's here saying that is used in math for raising a number to the power of the following number. For example, 10 to the power of 6 is 1 million. Yes, you are right. I totally flobbed that one. And well,
God fucking damn it!
You know what? I've been using that so much. You know what? It's getting to the word. I keep using that word. I do not think it means what I think it means. Anyway. Warsniper says, did you manage to get the volume fixed on one of them? Like I said, it's a little messed up. Oh, the soda's starting to kick in. Ow. Okay. Lena says, I want to say that gargoyles aren't statues of demons with wings. Based on the architecture, gargoyles served a real purpose. They were designed to get rid of the water on the castle walls. Yes, they were, excuse me, the original design was there to put a little bit of aesthetic on, and it was literally just the rain catchment system spraying off in a certain direction, which is why the mouth was usually open. A lot of different cultures have done the same things. The Romans in the very, very, very pricey bathhouses, they would always have somebody standing there with like the bucket over their shoulder, or the lion where the water was coming out of its mouth. That's exactly where the gargoyles first came from. You are 100% correct on that one, Leonid. And I got nothing to say on that. He continues. He says, because it was a humanoid female, it's going to have chesticles. Okay. Yeah, it's it's one of those things you don't think about. Just like the whole idea of a not a Dullahan. Sorry, the half snake woman creature. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, the whole idea of her having an actual chest and a very large chest actually did have a practical purpose, even though supposedly they laid eggs too. It was supposed to entice a man to get close enough where she could strike out, because they were constrictors, not venomous, usually. Certain ones were venomous. Other ones, the only one that could actually supposedly turn someone to stone was Medusa herself. Gorgons, that's what it was, Gorgons. Regardless of that, that does work in there, but I think there's only one anime where they actually did that, like some sort of snake woman. She went to the beach with the rest of them, and she just had this tube top, and she had literally nothing. It was perfectly flat, and like she was actually like a snake head and everything, by the way. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, you actually really don't have any chest." And it's like, "Why? Oh, we lay eggs. Why would I have one?" And it was just a matter of fact type thing. Not a bad anime. It's kind of kiddish, kind of girlish, but it was actually decent. Chris says the gargoyles have boobies because boobies are awesome. No debating. And with them, we could easily identify the genders. Sorry, I have to put it that way because I don't believe in that word gender. It's sex. It's biological sex. But believe it or not, I cannot say that word again for the rest of the stream because I'll get flagged. I know, crazy, right? Let's see. But it will help, although I will say judging the different male to female, maybe the way the body is shaped would kind of help. Also, let's see. Joseph's down here says Utah Raptors were the big ones. Velociraptors were the small one, I think. I would have to look that up. I can't debate you because I don't know. It looks like Chris agrees with you. War Sniper, he says, about the dragons having their spikes up on getting out of the egg, my own species have soft or no spikes when they get born. True, a female's womb, but, hold on. I didn't say it. But do have them when they come out of the egg. Okay. Good to know. Chris says the Utah Raptor was as big as a school bus. They actually showed that, Chris. They showed that on there. They called it the whatever it is Rex there that was camouflaged and everything. If you look at it sideways, it literally shaped exactly like a raptor, and that was as big as a school bus. So they did actually put that in the movies. They just didn't call it that. But good to know. Good to know. I'm glad you guys are informing me and informing everybody else at the same time. War Snipers here says, I don't want to kill the one bearing my dragon's offspring. Yeah. Also says, I'm getting really cold out when I stand on the rocks, and the rocks are so cold that it actually burns your feet a bit. Yeah, that'll actually happen. People don't realize that cold can burn, but just like chemical burn, it's a different type of burn. What's the different types of burns? There's thermal, chemical. I'm trying to remember the third one. Thermal, chemical, radiological, and of course, laser. Yeah. Let's see. Lena says, I would never trust junk food corporations to design the food pyramid, but they did. They absolutely did. 100% they did. And they was just trying to fill out their balance sheets. And the soda I drink here comes from a local source. It doesn't have all that extra shit in it that most of like Coke and Pepsi does.
So even though it is soda and it's not really good for me, this is the only time I drink it, which I'm online with you guys, so my throat don't get all sore. And you know, I know it's not great for me, but I'm not overindulging. So yeah. All right. War Sniper says maybe use that file story that the baby dragon OP are being born does have no spikes or other things that can kill the female or wound her upon birth to keep the mate of the dragon safe. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, again, if they're being born from eggs, it wouldn't really matter much. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why most reptilians, you know, don't give live birth. It's just is what it is. But I'll keep that in mind next time I do the dragon stuff because it's not quite over yet. Lena says Adam Driver was proposed for the new Kylo Ren Ben Solo by Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, hold on. Gotta stifle my vomit here. Okay. He was so into it, he already found some people to make the new movie. Then Disney didn't want to bring the character back because the character is supposed to be dead. Of course, he's supposed to be dead. He's a guy in a modern Star Wars movie. And it's the same type of crap. And this is one of the reasons why I knew Game of Thrones was going to take a total nosedive. When they did the whole, it was the queen and her handmaiden were talking, and the queen or the handmaiden said, all men must die. And the queen was like, but we are not men, are we? I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus. First off, death flag for at least one of them. And two, does that mean you're going to kill all the guys off? Because that's just stupid. Let's see. Chris says, perfect example of history being twisted like a pair of nuts. People think the Democrats are the party of Lincoln and that's not how you spell his last name. Lincoln and freed the slaves, and Republicans were the Confederacy and the party of segregation and Jim Crow. That's that is such an inversion. And I have actually had this same I had this conversation in high school. Actually, no joke. When I told him, and this is before Forrest Hump came out, which, by the way, I hate that fucking movie. There's only like one or two good scenes in the entire fucking thing, at least for me. Enjoy it all you want, guys, but I'm done. If you want to see a summation of that entire movie, Family Guy did a 1-minute skit on it. Perfect. But you're right, Chris. It's a complete and total inversion. And when I showed them who had the original non-Caucasian senators or congressmen or sheriffs or governors, they all had an R after their name for almost a century before someone with a D behind their name did. It's wow. You got to remember, anybody who's trying to sway the crowd will say anything to sway the fucking crowd. And anyone who's going to do that is not a leader. They're a con man. And that's all the thing. I say this enough times, and I don't want to get political, guys, but unfortunately I got to on this. When it comes to the two separate parties, you got to remember those who are socialists like that will always do the same thing. They will always claim that their opponents are doing what they themselves, what the socialists are guilty of. They will always do that. It's like you're dating somebody and they come up and they start claiming you're cheating on them, trying to get you pissed off so you break up with them because they don't want to look like the bad one, even though they're the ones that actually cheated. It's happened so many times, I'm tired of even looking at it. War Sniper saying, I was waiting for that one to be fixed, the AA tank.
He also says, I have a shitload of clips for you of that one sin. Okay. Speaking of which, I need to give my tongue a break. So, where was I? How about this one? I just realized something on that clip. The guy you blasted on the first one, he was actually backing up. So you literally zinged him right there in the bunghole. And of course, it looked like a Tiger tank, and that's the only place that it had any weak armor, at least on the outside. Anyways, let me go back in the comment section here. Okay, what the hell? Okay. Lena says, War Thunder has a midlife crisis, and it wants buyable anime girls in a tank. What?
What? What the fuck?
What? I'm trying to wrap I heard something about this. I thought it was a joke. Now my brain hurts. Oh my God. Holy shit. Ugh. Okay. Well, my part of my brain tries to recover from that. Let me read this one. Chris saying, with the Pokemon cards, we were offered 20,000 cash for one page of 9 error cards. I'm guessing something was messed up on them. They got a god pack of prismatic evolutions, if I'm saying that right. And every card was an error card. 20 grand? Dude, do some research to make sure it's not worth 100 and sell that shit. Because you don't know when the market's going to drop out of the bottom of those. You really don't. Actually, the market's starting to actually do a bear market. It's starting to come down because it spiked too fast and it looked like the whole market was going to collapse. I used to study these all the time, and I was getting real nervous if it didn't go down a little bit. Let's see. Joseph says, ooh, boost for cash for War Thunder. Anime might be a thing. Maybe. Are they selling body pillows with that? Maybe one with a crease in the middle? So you can, never mind. I'm not going to finish that phrase. Let's see. Leah says, I don't dislike Pokemon games. I just think that the games have gotten lazy. And it's possible that people have gotten used to the bad graphics. I could understand that. I could truly understand that. Chris says, I trade graphics for great story and gameplay. Now, on that same note, I have been just about begging for somebody in the industry, in the console industry, to re-release the Battlefront games, the original Battlefront 1 and 2 for Star Wars. Those were fun. That's like Mario Kart with actual guns. You could get a bunch of guys together, link a couple of TVs, and it's just, oh my God, it's a blast. It's so much fun to play. Unfortunately, I gave my discs away because I was trying to not be stuck on video games so much, which was stupid on my part. Regardless, holy shit. Oh, but the graphics were kind of shit, especially to today's standards. I mean, what we were just watching on War Thunder is way better than anything they had on the original Battlefront. That being said, it was just fun to play. Pure and simple, just fun to play. And especially if you got like 8, 9, 10 people going at the same time. Oh, it was a fucking blast. Oh, I miss LAN parties. I really do. See, Lena says, I like comedy dating sim games based on ridiculous concepts. You have an option to date World War II tanks with anime girls. And then you have another game where you date attack helicopters, anime girls. I believe we talked about Azure Lane enough on that. I'm sure somebody's going to make something out of that with the anime girls that half transform into something else. They got the propeller planes. They got the ships now. What they got? Going to have tanks now. They already got what was it? Tank Commander girl, whatever the hell it was. Panzer Faust girl or something like that. Which was okay. They missed one aspect. If they put one thing in there, that show would have been a lot better. And I even asked a few friends who actually live over in Japan if this would work. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's like Panzer Tank Girl, something like that, where they actually put young girls. It's part of like their club. They go and they shoot each other in tanks, but they're made of a certain composite. And the ammo they're firing, even though it's going to knock you sideways, isn't enough to actually get through the armor itself. Supposedly, even though you see tanks or treads get blown off all the time. Regardless of that, I was like, why don't they just roll the tanks in one day and have all the guys from the school sitting there, shirts off, tools in hands, like, you girls, go relax. We're going to fix these things up. And they just come out like pristine every single time. And even that, just to have the girls get blushy and go, hi, just for a little joke. And at least in Japan, that would go over really well. Over here, maybe not so much, but still. Let's see. Chris says the F7F3 Tiger Cat, a great plane that no one knows about. Absolutely. It came out too late. It came out, I think the first ones came off like a month before the war ended. The Japanese were getting their ass handed to them so bad at that point. It wasn't even funny. But yeah, I seen one in an air show. That guy was, I've never seen a prop plane do the shit that it was doing. And as a dual engine aircraft, it doesn't have the same problem as a P-38. P-38s, if they dive too fast for too long, physics starts to work against them and it actually starts pushing them faster down. And you can't pull out of the dive. You can pull that stick back as hard as you can. You're not pulling out of that dive. The only thing you can do is throttle back, open up your flaps, pull the stick, and pray. Pray that you slow down enough that suddenly your nose picks up. Because if you keep going down, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to crash, and at that speed, you can't jump out. The wind would tear you in half. Or the plane itself is going to rip apart just from stress. Which usually it didn't rip apart because of stress, because the things were so unbelievably well made. But the Tiger Cat didn't have that problem. Let's see. Guard says, I'm kind of glad they got rid of the age or the whole age recognition thing for Borderlands, because now I can look back to play the game in peace. I didn't know they had an age recognition software. That honestly sounds creepy as fuck. See, Leon says, Disney's Incredibles are still better than the new Fantastic Four movie. I will agree with that 10,000%. That movie actually stands up to time. And here's one of the best parts of the whole thing. A lot of the verbiage they were using was actually correct. No joke. The whole reference to Chronos, the fact that they didn't say deploy but execute, that all this other stuff, the everything the wife was saying over the radio when they were getting shot at. You can actually look it up on YouTube, and they have the actual, like, what she's saying and what it means right next to it. And she only screwed up on one part. You're supposed to say Mayday 3 times, not twice. And that's actually something I did that on when I was playing MechWar Online back in the day. I literally got caught out in the open. I actually had my backing up, and I'm like, Mayday, 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 Echo 4. I'm getting swarmed here. Where's my support, guys? And one guy's like, did he just call Mayday? It's like 4 seconds later, I'm a dust cloud. And then they're like, oh my God, we lost them. I'm like, yeah, you're about to lose the match too. They're like, oh no, we're going to win this match. They did not win the match. I was
walking with the missile boat. In other words, their support. They just lost all their support because they decided to bolt ahead and leave me behind because my shit was so heavy that it moved really slow. This is a fucking zombie mech. Okay, Chris says, laughing out loud, haha, I got bucked from the side of a little bird. Hold on. I got bucked from the side of a little bird and wound up dangling from the side, traveling at what felt like the speed of Mach Jesus, less than 50 feet from the ground. Fun ride. Oh, I would think so. One of the reasons I'm not much of a rider myself. And yeah. Now we have Eric here saying Medusa. I believe you were going to say Gorgon. Because Medusa was actually her name, not her species. Now, the thing is, they have screwed those up so much. You know, I'm going to put that in for the files. Maybe I'll do that one. Maybe I won't. Honestly, would have gone, if I had thought of it before, I would have squeezed that into when they were in the catacombs. That, honestly, that was so wide open, guys. Holy shit. Just holy shit. So much I could have done with that, but it would have gotten so confusing so fucking fast. Let's see. Erica says, Greeks also had lamias, which is same thing. No, you spelled it right. Which are half human, half snake. Their snake half had fur instead of scales. Yeah. That's been kind of bastardized by modern media, but yes, 100%. Lamia and Gorgon are more or less the same thing. The only difference between them is that the Gorgon has much more reptilian features. But they both are, from the waist up, shaped like very, very shapely females, which is one of the reasons why you actually pause. As you're trying to shoot your arrow, you're like, wow, I don't want to ruin a nice set of tits. You better loose that arrow, dude, or you're dead. So, let's see. Lean is over here, says, I never really liked Darth Maul because that guy is supposed to be dead because Obi-Wan's supposed to bisect him vertically instead of horizontally. But then Lucasfilm got him robot legs. They brought him back specifically because they did a survey request. They wanted to see what people thought. And it was an overwhelming desire to see the character brought back because they didn't think his character was given the justice he deserved in the movies. He was given very, very little screen time. I looked into this one because, well, I was told about it. And I'm like, no, that can't be it. That can't be it. No, that's exactly what happened. And that's why they gave him the robot legs, which honestly I think is dumb. But hey, then again, how he got his robot legs is even worse. So, yeah. It's actually, he did end up bisecting him vertically in the show, but he missed the head, started at the chest, and went down into his robot nuts and bolts and split him open. And that's why he died the way he did. War Sniper's back here with, yeah, but a Kitsune is not a reptile. She is a mammal that gives birth to a dragon or half dragon. Because of that, the hatching gets born true womb, not true egg. If you want, I can send a description. Trust me, that's a vivid enough description for the mind, isn't it? I'm sure. You know, some little Kitsune sitting there screaming, ow, it hurts. And then a little dragon's head pops out, goes, hey, what's up? You know, let's see. Yeah, I get the description of the house. He says, in my story, my mates have been giving birth like it was nothing special with my AI roleplay charts. He also says, no sin, that is not a tiger tank. It sure looked like it. That I shot. It was a German. You know, I can't speak German, so I'm going to screw this one up. Beglitpanzer, which, by the way, if anyone's out there confused, Panzer means tank in German. So, Beglitpanzer 57, a light fast shooting BMP style APC with a tow missile. I killed it with a World War II Sherman. Yeah, you sure did. Okay, good to know. Guardian says the only reason the idea of the boys being mechanics for the girls' tanks is because of modern feminism and LG. You know what? Alphabet soup. I'm just going to say the alphabet soup. Or maybe they're Transformers more than meets the eye. Ugh. Boy, I can't even say that with a straight face without getting nauseous. What the fuck is wrong with me? Lena jumps back in and says, back then when people had been watching the anime of the girls driving tanks, World Tanks was extremely popular. Yeah. The anime was also based on that. Okay. Every time the tank demolished your house, you would get insurance. I remember that scene where it kind of like couldn't make the corner and skidded off and hit the guy's shop. And somebody's like, oh man, they hit your shop. Yeah, at least I get a new one. I say, yeah, if you can just chuck resources like that, why the fuck not? Let's see. Guardian Sage actually punched in. The reason it wouldn't go over well because of Eric saying, yeah, I meant for story. Okay. Guard, oh, if you think that's bad with the anime thing for War Thunder, they want to charge you. I kid you not, $60 for each individual set, which is just the tank. The anime girl voice actor, the skin for it, and a chance that you'll actually have anime girls repairing whatever damaged part of the tank that is damaged if it's an external part. Like the one thing that sent me to scratch my head is why you charging us $60 for this. Like they charge you buku prices for some of this stuff. I kid you not, they're expensive as fuck. Yeah. Now, when I played MechWarrior Online, they did have a pay system in there. It was for what they called expendables. If you wanted the extra UAV, you would, and the thing is, it only charged you if you fucking used it, or the extra artillery strike. You know, again, if you used it, you paid for it. That's it. You know, it didn't make sense for that. And before I start losing people, let's what am I doing? Nope, can't do that one, can't do that one, can't do that one. Let's bubble tank this.
Target destroyed.
Yep, they had a bad day. Excuse me. Let's see. Guard continues with, like for the new T-58 heavy tank that was just added to the game, they expect you to pay. I kid you not, $70 for it, and all you get is the tank, like 1,000 gold eagles and 1 week of what the fuck? Excuse me. 1 week of premium days. I don't know what premium days do, so I'm not going to say shit on that one. Or I should say, but for some people, it's going to be worth it. For me, I wouldn't do that. They tried to do that with MechWarrior Online. It was a complete and total bust because everyone's like, oh, yeah, do I want a Mad Cat? Do I want the Timberwolf with all this extra stuff, with all the clan tech on it? Yeah, I want it. I'm not paying $30 for it. So, yeah, that was a total bite me. And anybody who actually showed up with that thing, it stuck out so much. Oh, gee, everybody just took pride in popping the son of a bitch. Me too. And I'm the one in a Jaeger mech way in the back with rotary 2s and AC 5s just laying in with all this shit. And everyone's like, what the, get that out of my face. What the hell? And all I'm doing is actually basically lasing a target while putting some damage on it. Ugh. Okay, Lenin says that technically every Beast Girl is supposed to have a human form. That in anime, that is absolutely true. In actuality, every type of demon is supposed to have, or I shouldn't say just demon, but anyone of that ilk is supposed to be able to transform into a type of human form. Why? Camouflage. Pure and simple. Camouflage. Lets you merge into the population. So if someone's hunting you down, you can disappear in plain sight. That's the whole idea of that. Erica, hey, you haven't put too much in here. She says, can someone please explain to me why Warhammer got cat people? Did they need something to make it more sunshine and rainbows and unicorn farts? If yes, to the last one, all I have to say is weaklings. You know what? Now I wish I had the button here to say heresy. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna do the heresy thing. Okay, where's my pen? Wrong page. Heresy. Do a little exterminatus on him. Yes, I do know. I may not be a big 40K fan, but yeah, I do know what those are. Yeah, I don't get it either, Erica. I really don't. Let's see. Worst never saying little Kitsune. What the hell, Sin? I think more Kitsune are 1.8 meters. Hold it real, not messed up. In my head, I was thinking of that cartoon where the Kitsune is taking care of the guy, and she's only like maybe 3 feet tall, and it's kind of a running gag that she's so small. But yeah, I know Kitsunes actually get quite large. I think Love, Death, and Robots, they did a really good job portraying one of them, where she's tall and lean and attractive and all that other fun stuff. And yeah. My tongue needs a break, so I'm going to run this.
It didn't work out, but I will admit I'm leaning toward hope this time. Brace for impact. One disaster after another on this ship. Battleship, identify yourself. Stand down, repair teams. I need some coffee. Target.
You know, every time I see that clip, I keep thinking the same thing. Is that your version of Cortana in the background? If it is, I'd like to see what digital form she takes. Anyway, we got up here Guard saying it doesn't help that Nintendo just keeps releasing what's the equivalent of the same game over and over and over and over again with the same graphics they've been using for 9 years now. Actually, Mario Kart looks the same to me as it did 20 years ago. Actually, almost 30 now. God, I feel old. Thankfully, I don't look that old. That's a thing with the guys in my family. We just don't look
old. Anyways, he also says, okay, to answer your question, Jem, as the Warhammer expert here, because on certain planets, humanity had, in a way, mutated to combat the harshness of it, and the old lore, they evolved to be more cat-like to survive. But in new lore, now, they just, oh yeah, they were created during the Dark Age technology by some crazy guy. Maybe he likes furries. But since a human and technically they've been around long enough, they're good. They're good. They're safe. They're not going to be hunted down like every other non-human that's there. Although, honestly, I'd be worried about if you took one to bed. You ever had a woman try to carve her name in your back? What happens when you have one with retractable claws? Ow. Worse never since Sin, the one I killed with the AA tank, yes. Same I killed with the Sherman. Okay. Guard up here also saying, also, like the whole thing has been around long enough that their mutation is no longer a mutation and now just genetic, which stops the genocide. So, okay, that's a good point to make. That really helps. That really does help. Lena jumping back in and says, from what I know in that new isekai, the wild boss, the character has a pet sheep that can transform into a femboy human form. I saw bits of that just because I was watching a review, and honestly, something about that show just didn't sit with me, and I don't know why. And the only reason I even saw the bit is because somebody was saying how, oh my God, they took this great chance with one of these sub characters and they did femboys right. I'm like, why would they want to do it right anyway? But you know, hey, if it works for the show, again, I don't watch the show. First, I don't have time, and two, it again didn't jump out at me. If it works in the context of the show, okay. Is what it is. You know, I can't argue with somebody else's work if it works for what they have there. So anyways, Guard says the only thing good that comes out of the new Pokemon game is the pornography of the adult lady in the diver suit. Can't remember her name, but she got the whole Pokemon community doing backflips out of pure excitement because she's built to be good on the eyes. So basically, this is Samus without her armor going out there. Okay. Just okay. I got nothing on that. If they want to make it a pornography, then that's all them. Let's see. Guard saying, "Oh God, not girls in panzas." Yes, that's exactly what it was. I totally forgot the name, but yeah, I still when I ran that idea by him, and they're just like, I kid you not, I'm on the phone. He starts laughing. I'm like, why did something happen? He goes, no, this idea, I'm seeing the episode in my head, and it's oh dear Lord. And it has absolutely nothing to do with panty dropping either. It's just the kind of twisted thing. But they wouldn't do that because it's supposed to be kind of a girl empowerment show, and they wouldn't want to rely on a man type thing. Whatever. It's still a entertaining show, at least what little bit I remember of it. Lena says, Warhammer Catgirls are based on the anime reference. Okay, so they don't have the quite feline muzzle. Okay. So yeah, just the ears and the tail. Why not? If it works, it works. If it works in the setting, that's all I give a shit about. It needs consistency. Any story requires consistency. That's why people turned away from Game of Thrones on that last season, because they threw away every little bit of consistency. It didn't freaking work
at all. Everything, literally, they took the characters and inverted everything. And I'm just like, you can't do that and have your audience there. Oi. Okay, Chris says, thinking of how strange people have become with what's going on in the world, and I'm at where I'm waiting for a protest to stop killing horses to make horsepower for waiting for a protest to stop killing horses to make horsepower for cars. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh, you didn't see when they actually brought the cavalry out, did you? Oh, the protesters realized real fast you don't get in the way of these horses. They can be skittish, but they can also be very, very mean. About as mean as a pissed off bull, I'll tell you that. There's a reason why heavy cavalry was used for a long, long, long time, because it worked. And they're not the people standing there are not armed. And the kicker is, if you spray one of these horses like pepper spray, that's like attacking a police officer. You can be arrested on that, like that. So anyways, I'm not going to, I try to say, sorry, I'm getting pulled into politics here. Okay. Erica says, Warhammer has its own anime now? Dear God. I've been under a rock. And, oh, don't worry. Here's some advice.
When I get sad, I stop being sad and be awesome instead. True story.
Yeah. Just don't worry about it. Chris says, yes or no? Most are fan made. Check out Astartes. Yeah, I did. Actually, that's it's the graphics are extremely good, and pretty soon all those movies like that are going to be are going to start coming out, because you just have to give ChatGPT or one of these other programs a prompt, and they're going to make a full-length video. And it's going to be difficult to actually not think this is real. Now, there's one, I believe it's called Robot Uprising. You just look up, I believe it's XAM, Robot Uprising, XAM. It's really good. It's like a 20-minute video. It looks like it's straight off of Netflix, Love, Death, and Robots. It's just really, really good. I don't know how long it took them to make it, but it was very interesting to look at. The premise was good. The voice acting was really good. It's all decent. Erica says, Chris, will you also, about the horsepower, I pinched the bridge of my nose. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong or what. That just went past my head. Okay, Gar says, something kind of funny is that with Borderlands 2 in particular, if I remember correctly, they said that they're as close to, I kid, you got 26,000 guns you can find in the game. Yeah, but how many bullets? Continues with, because most guns in the game are randomly generated, and even if it's the same gun, there's a chance it will have a random effect on which makes it a new gun in the game books. Why not? And before I jump there onto Leonids, let's what am I looking at? Let's wax up into pieces. You know, a kicker with those big ass swords he was using? Finally, somebody who had the ability to build one, because I've been saying it for years with like the old berserk swords, like they used to call them buster swords, the big ones. There was I think his name was Shad or something. He does a lot of medieval stuff, and he does a really good job. But when he critiqued the large buster sword, he's like, it's completely useless. You can't use those because of this. It's too big for that and all that. First off,
the guy swinging it is a lot bigger than you are, dude. And don't get me wrong, I think Shad does an amazing job with a lot of what he does. However, when he looked at the sword, all he did was look at the thumbnail. He didn't actually watch to see how it was used in combat. He's like, all you can do is swing it over your head or bring it sideways. No shit. But you know what? That's still more than enough. If you actually watch the anime of Berserk, he would know the main attack is to grab it from the back, swing it over, stepping forward, using inertia and driving it down so that even though the blade was not exactly the sharpest, it was still enough to go through the target. And I'm just like, just when you're doing a review, actually review, people. I mean, it's not like these folks who just watch half a video on TikTok and try to make a whole video based off it. Anyway, sorry about the side rant. I didn't mean to. Where was I? Lena's here said, even though nobody can agree how catgirls look in the Warhammer 40K universe, people think they might look like anime characters or they could look like cats from that musical. Oh, please, God, no. Just no. Not only was the acting absolutely horrible, but the CGI and the makeup was just ugh. Ugh. I've only seen makeup worse in a movie one other time, and that was with Ahsoka. Oh, wait, that was a show, so I don't know if it counts. They've gotten better, but when it first came out, I'm looking like, no, just no. War's never saying, cat girls like Ragnar? I must be missing something on that one. See, Guard says, at least they come up with an in-lore reason, which was his connection to the dark side, aka his hatred for Obi-Wan was so powerful that kept him alive. Yes, Darth Maul. Now, if you actually go into, again, I was stuck on a tower with a guy who was a Star Wars encyclopedia. If you go into the older stories, there was very little the Force couldn't do. It was absolutely kind of crazy because in reality, the Force, when using the dark and the light in conjunction with each other, and you become one with it, you actually stop. You stop aging, at least exterior. All you do is get stronger and stronger and stronger, which is why one of the most dangerous ones apparently Luke Skywalker had to face was several thousand years old. And I'm sitting there like, oh, let me guess. He won by shoving his lightsaber up her ass. He's like, how did you know he won? I was like, because it's a fucking book and that's a plot-driven fight. In actuality, he should have sat down in front of her and said, teach me. But nope, he's got to be number one. But he continues here is like hell when we first saw him with his spider legs, which was creepy, he was still only alive because of his hatred and his insanity, which drove his hatred. Once they gave him official legs, his body was able to work. Yep. Lena says, I don't remember how they have explained in the Tank Girl driving anime. For whatever reason, the tankery sport became popular among girls. They did one little blurb in there where they were trying to, how do I put this? Propagandize the girls saying, oh, it makes you look more feminine and the guys will like you more and this, that, and the other thing. Apparently the guys took it too seriously. You got to put it in the same context as roller derby. I don't know if you've ever seen roller derby, but when I was a kid, they allowed male roller derby and female roller derby. They didn't put them together, thank God. But the men were hitting each other so hard and driving each other into the post so hard that they were causing permanent injury. And I'm not even joking here. I don't know if you guys remember the old wrestler, Diamond Dallas Page. He did what he called a diamond cutter. You grab somebody by the neck so their head's right here, and then you literally leap your feet forward out, and then you drive their face into the ground.
no shit, live, I saw some guy, he must have weighed 200 pounds. He was heavier than me. He was a lot taller than me too. And he did that on some skinny dude. That dude landed. The guy that did it to him bounced up and like kind of cracked his back because he hit kind of hard. But the guy who had his face just knocked into the ground, they had to send in paramedics and take him out on a stretcher. He was done for the rest of his life. He's alive, but it fucked him up so bad. So that's the whole idea behind the girls becoming the whole tanker thing, because, well, they try to propagandize them into doing it. However, they can't allow the boys to be in the tanks because they will be like, you know, it will be better than these crappy shells that don't go through this armor. Let's juice up the shells so they actually do go through and kill somebody. I mean, come on, we're guys. We're great at designing our own death traps anyway. Prove me wrong. I dare you. I double dare you, mother. Let's see. Lena says, I think I really like when they show aliens as humans with the two antennas on top of their heads. Nanu. Yeah. I believe there's one in the Trekkie Treks that they couldn't quite get right because they couldn't get the machines small enough. Now they do. They're like light blue and they're just turbo assholes. Eric saying, no killing ducks to make duct tape, Chris. It's actually duct tape, not duck quack quack. And he says, stop killing dogs for hot dogs. Stop killing cats for catnip. I don't know where this started. Excuse me. Lena says, I've seen that short where the super dog kind of dragging Supergirl across the floor and kicking her against the wall hard. Yeah, that was kind of funny. Chris saying, that's not the doggy style I know. I will say this, since that's towards the bottom. I may or may not at one point start actually reading out, because I did actually write most of it, at least the start of it, the DC comic thing where I create a whole new character. That probably won't happen until the new year. However, Supergirl, believe it or not, plays a fairly interesting role. And one of the key things is the new character, and I'm not really spoiling anything here. It's right off the bat, you learn about this guy. He's not from this dimension. He can actually jump dimensions. In his original dimension, he was used as a lab rat, basically. They wanted to see how much juice they could put in him and the human body would take it, not realizing that they were creating a meta-human by accident. Well, he was able to get away. There's a whole big story that was on there, and his eventual spouse, if you want to call it that, because there was no actual wedding, was actually Power Girl as a clone of Supergirl. Losing her through a whole, again, I'm not going to ruin everything here, drove him kind of nuts. So every time Supergirl actually like talks to him and he hears that voice, he like freaks. He's like, he's shaking, which is why every time they talk about his former wife, the guy immediately grabs a bottle and just he'll literally just turn it upside down, like Wolverine in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, just upends a bottle of whiskey, drinks the whole goddamn thing right there because he wants to end himself and he can't. Long story. But yeah, that when you mentioned Supergirl, I was like, yeah. Okay. Oh, Ragnar's from Ambush Print. Okay, yeah, gotcha. I gotcha. Sorry, but I need to get back into that story. I really do. Let's see. Oh, building off the killing horses for horsepower. Got it. Okay, I got you, Guardian. I got you. And then Chris, I'm afraid to ask where corn dogs come from. Is that like asking if chocolate milk comes from brown cows?
It's a bunch of stuff that some idiots would actually. Yeah, it is. All right. I don't know if we played this one tonight. I'll play this. I literally randomly hit things. So how about this one? I swear, every time I see that one, I keep thinking, hold the door, hold door, hold door, hold the door, hold door. Yeah. Or Hodor, whatever the fuck his name was. Chris says, that actually sounds cool, Sin. But if you make Marvel one, make the character named Stan Lee. And he has osteo imperfecta. Excelsior. Any damage done to him is bounced back to the dealer. It's not quite this. Yeah, stairs could be a mortal enemy. Okay. I don't want to say too much. I will say that one of his abilities, because he has several, but the thing is, he's basically an alpha test, so not everything works the way you want it to. His body radiates a shield, but he can't control it. Just like you can't really control blinking, you can control it for a little while. But say you're trying to hold your eyes open and somebody comes up and blows air in your face, you're naturally going to close your eyes because your body wants to protect it. So if he tried to friggin' shoot himself, it would just bing, bounce off and might knock the weapon sideways, but he's going to be fine. Might get a headache from, the vibration and whatnot, but he'll be fine. So the damage doesn't actually bounce into the other person, but it does bounce off, which actually plays into when you first see him. So anyways, first things first, I do have to say, don't forget to make sure you are still subscribed, folks. It's one of those things, I keep seeing my numbers drop. And I think it has to do with the fact that I just can't make videos every single day. It's just not physically possible. So it is what it is. And excuse me. And I think I'll leave you with this one here. Actually, I wanted to. I'm starting to wonder if that was a 25 mic. It's got the actual timing of it. Let's see. Lena says, I probably have an idea for the mutant character that has the ability to heal injuries by talking to them. Okay. I kind of did that a little bit before on a different type one. Mutant heal with words. Okay. Let's see. War Sniper says that tank is the one I killed with the AA tank and the Sherman sim, the one I drive there. Okay. Oh, whew. Good to know. I am burping like crazy and we're all the way down. So what we're gonna do tonight, I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna put on this one because it's pretty much the best one I got on there while I do the safety briefing. You guys know if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat their ass. It is better than to explain to somebody why they're no longer breathing. And it's a whole lot easier to explain to the cops why you just broke your buddy's nose. Also, if your little soldiers goes into the bush,
Swing.
then make sure he wears his poncho. It gets wet in the bush, at least if you know what you're doing. Also, make sure you guys go easy if you have anything stronger. You don't want to end up ruining your entire weekend over one Friday night. Also, if you end up doing any type of anything really strong and you didn't invite me, you're doing it wrong. Okay. Aside from that, again, make sure you watch it on the roads. I have to be very careful on the roads around here because they are very slick thanks to the fallen leaves. Everybody else, you should take care as well. The weather is getting very, 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 very strange, to include a Category 4 hurricane, last I heard, down over by like Jamaica or Cuba or something like that. And nobody knows what direction it's going to go. So wherever you are, just keep it in mind. Stay safe, because you know what? I want to see all you guys back here on Syntext Live. This is your host,